Okay, here we have question 4. This is a question on bearings. Now there's a few things we need to know about bearings, or we should remember about bearings. One is that they're always measured from north. So if I'm standing at a point here and I want to go off in this direction, then I must measure my angle from north to here. The other thing about bearings that we need to remember is that bearings must be always given with 3 digits. So if I have a small bearing, like one up here, that maybe that's 7 degrees, I must write some zeros in front of it to make it 3 digits. So if that was 7 degrees in there, then my bearing would be 007. If I got a 2-digit bearing, say 30 degrees, then my bearing will be 030. Okay, so bearings are always measured from north, clockwise, and are always written with 3 digits. You don't have to write degree sign on bearings. Right, first question. Kate is at O and walks towards B. On what bearing does she walk? So she's at O and she walks towards B. Now a lot of bearings questions, people make mistakes because they're not getting to grips of which direction they're going. So you always think about where you're standing and where you're going to. Now you're not actually given any angles from north. We want this angle in here to get the bearing, but we're given that this is 60 and this is 80. So this angle in here is 140, and because this is a straight line, this is directly south, it tells us here it's due south. That's 180 degrees from north to south, so 140 there, that means we're missing 40 degrees here. So what bearing does she walk? She walks at a bearing of 040. It's 40 degrees from north clockwise, but we must put an extra 0 in to get 3 digits, or 3 figures. Ben is at B and he walks to meet Kate. So he stood at B and he's walking to meet Kate. So he's coming this way. And what bearing does he walk? Well, we have to measure our bearings from north. So there's the north, and we have to come all the way around here to work that out, that angle there. Now, there's a really useful rule for bearings. If you extend the line that Kate was going on towards Ben, okay, if we had a straight line, then we would see that, in fact, let's actually make that a straight line. Okay, we would see that this angle here, for Ben to be going towards Kate, this extra angle in here is 180 degrees. This angle here is the original 40 degrees. So we have the 40 degrees from north plus 180 to get onto the bearing that Ben needs to go to meet Kate. So it's 180 plus 40, which equals 220 degrees, or a bearing of 220. Frank is walking from A to O, so he's going from A to O. When he gets to O, what angle clockwise does he need to turn through to continue on to C? Okay, so he gets to O, and he's coming off at this direction. Now, it's a bit of a silly question asking what angle he's going to turn through clockwise, but that's the question you've been asked, not anti-clockwise. So what we could do is work out all those angles on the map. But if we could work out this angle and take it away from 360, we get the clockwise angle that goes all the way around from here to there. So we know this is 90 degrees, and so that would be 180 degrees from there to there. So this is 90 and 40, that's 130, so we've got another 50 degrees in there, and this is 60 degrees all the way through, so that must be 10 degrees in there. So the clockwise angle from the direction that Frank is walking to go to C would be all the way around there, would be 360 minus 10, which is 350 degrees. Okay.